Good evening, welcome to Last Bell Boxing. It's an absolute pleasure to be joined by super middleweight sensation, Will Webber. How are you, pal?
Oh, I'm doing good, mate. Thank you. Yeah, doing really good. You okay?
Or should I say 666 Will Webber?
Yeah, that's the nickname. That's what we go by. Yeah.
Okay, let's start there then,
Yeah.
Will. Where does that come from?
So, just like way back when I was an amateur, sort of 13, 14, used to obviously go like sparring around all the amateur gyms, and all the dads or other boxers I'd be sparring, whatever guys. I used to like just really like come forward all the time. That's all I did really wasn't a lot of skill to it. It was just charge forward, throw as many punches as you can, and they were, oh, God, he's a bit of a beast, isn't he? And yeah, the name just sort of stuck. Um, and then one day came across the song by Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, 666, and it just sort of stuck from there. We were like, yeah, let's go with that. That was pretty good, yeah. So yeah, we went with that.
So for people that are watching our show that maybe don't or haven't seen you, don't know much about you, let's go right back to the very start, Will.
Right, okay, yeah.
What's your first ever memory of boxing?
My first ever memory of boxing is probably training in the very gym I'm in now with my dad. We had a bag that hung up in the middle of the room,
Right.
and I had these little probably 6-ounce mitts that I was putting on, and it was go on, like jab 1, 2, trying to teach me sort of the skills and stuff. And yeah, that's my first ever memory, probably smashing out that bag with these little 6-ounce things on. And I was only very short then, probably. I dread to think how short, but yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, now now obviously I fight at 76 kilos. I think my first fight around then I was 48 kilos. So
Right, wow.
I was a hell of a lot lighter. Yeah.
Did your dad always have boxing on around the house? Have you grown up with it?
Yeah, so he was a swimmer, and then he did bodybuilding, but he's always been massively into sports, massively into boxing. He's always got it on the TV. He's always watched it, always watched not just the big fights, but always the smaller fights as well. He just loves the sport. He's absolutely obsessed with it, I'd say. he's really into it.
Who if you could pick one fighter when you was younger that kind of inspired you and made you think, oh wow, I would love to do that going forward. Was there anyone in particular, one particular fighter?
Yeah, probably. I think from it's one of my dad's favourite fighters, so I guess that's probably where it comes from. Yeah, but I think I'd have to say Mike Tyson. I just love the whole, it's Iron Mike. It's baddest man on the planet. He's just the whole sort of coming in with his boots, no socks, and no sort of music as he comes in. Just sort of very and he gets in there and just says nothing, but just blows the opponent away within like a round or two. It's
No,
but I'm like, my dad is a massive fan of Mike Tyson, and I guess he was watching a lot of videos, and I've always looked and thought, it's just so destructive the way he does everything's brilliant.
No glitz and glamour with Tyson, was there? I mean,
No.
he had most fighters beat before they even got in the ring.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, just the psychological effect of him being him, just beat him already.
So tell me a little bit about your amateur career. I'm thinking you had about 40 fights.
Yeah, it was 30 to 40 fights. Yeah.
What's that done for you as you've progressed into the pro ranks? Because everyone talks about the amateur game and the pro game being completely different sports. Does that give you an advantage? Because you see a lot of fighters now don't have many amateur fights. They're going into the pro game and they're learning. You can see they're learning as they're fighting.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I mean, you don't have to have that amateur background, but I think it certainly helps. I think. I mean, I had sort of 30 to 40 fights, but I think you know what it is. It's the like the ring craft. I think because obviously you can do all the training that you want to do, but then actually even just you can do all the sparring you want to do, but then getting in there and actually fighting, it's completely different. So for me, I think it's if you've been in the amateurs, you've fought in a lot of amateur fights. It's the ring craft, it helps with that. Obviously, you get people like you said, they've had no amateur career, but they get in there, the pros, and yeah, they do it, but they're not quite as sort of sharp or as experienced as the people that have done amateur boxing.
You can sometimes see as well people that haven't had the amateur experience, they kind of freeze under the lights. So that amateur experience and competition and stuff like that, it's gotta help going forward, surely.
Oh, massively. I would completely agree. I think, like I say, I mean, there is people that do break through that haven't boxed amateur wise, but I think it certainly helps.
So, Will, you're currently Southern Area champion, and you're and you're going. Next fight is on December the 2nd at York Hall, the magical York Hall, for the final eliminator for the English title. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. Yeah, that's correct.
Have you fought at York Hall before?
Pretty much. Well, no, actually, tell a lie. All of my fights have been at York Hall.
Have they really?
So it's like second home, really. Yeah.
Wow. I tell you what, I've never been, mate. It's the Mecca. I mean, everyone talks about how small it is, and a lot of fighters say that they don't like the experience because the changing rooms aren't very big. Like it's real old school, isn't it?
It is. It's so old school. I mean, it is the home of British boxing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's a bit outdated. It could do with a bit of a refurb. And yeah, the changing rooms are absolutely dreadful. They're tiny and very old. But when you're boxing there, the atmosphere is just it's amazing. I mean, I've got nothing to compare it to, apart from my amateur stuff. But like, Lauren, who's my stable mate, she's obviously boxed York Hall, other places, and she said, like, when she comes to watch me at York Hall, she said that there's a difference to when she fights from what she can hear, and then it's just so different at York Hall. It's the whole atmosphere is different. It's just brilliant.
You know what I love is the balcony, because it looks like they're right on top of the ring.
Yeah, and the view from the balcony is incredible. It's the best view you'll get, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'd love to go, mate. It's one of them. If you don't live in London, everyone from outside of London thinks, oh, it's a nightmare to get to, and you never end up going. So I will at some point. I'll come down with a show, probably to one of your shows or one of Lauren's shows. We'll come down to the show and we'll do something from the show. I can't wait. Really, it's just one of those places that you have to tick off your bucket list, don't you?
Oh, you do, yeah. I mean, it's like, say, even all the big names on TV, the British champions, whatever, the ones that haven't will say, "Oh, I wish I fought at York Hall." It's just like the home of British boxing. It's an incredible venue. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the fight you're going to be having there. Like I say, it's for final eliminator for the English title. Am I right in thinking the current English champion is Mark Jeffers?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
You're going in with Adrian Redmond, who's currently 8-0.
Yes.
What do you know about Adrian?
Adrian and me sort of go way back because you're talking a good sort of 6-7 years ago, like way before COVID. Yeah, me and him used to sort of spar and work together, go and spar each other, help each other out for like fights and stuff. So yeah, we know each other. We go way back. But obviously, yeah, we've both improved. We've both come on since then. It's been a long time since we've seen each other or since we've fought or sparred each other. So it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good, interesting fight, and we'll see what happens on the
night. How do you expect Adrian to come into the fight? What are your expectations? Obviously, you know a lot about him. You've sparred him. Do you think he'll bring something different because of that, or do you expect a similar sort of angle that he normally fights?
I mean, like I say, there's videos of everyone online, and I've sparred him in the past, but that was years ago. But it's like I say, it's been a hell of a long time, so I expect he's definitely changed. He's obviously improved, same as me. We've changed, we've improved. So I think it's going to be a case of we're going to go out and I mean, I like to adapt to sort of what's there in front of me. So I'm not sure. We'll go out and we'll see what happens in the first round, and we'll go from there. Basically.
Let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about your relationship with dad and trainer.
Yeah.
You've got a fantastic setup down there. I was really surprised. I came down. You wasn't there, unfortunately, but I came
No, I think
down.
I was out somewhere. Yeah.
No, I came down to watch a little bit of a sparring session just to help Nicola while and watch that spar, which was outstanding. Firstly, you've got a fantastic housemate.
Oh, thank you.
No,
Thanks.
it's brilliant, and the setup in the back is just mind blowing. What's it like to be able to roll out of bed and know you've got that gym sat there waiting for you?
It's. Oh, I don't want to say it's good and bad. No, it is. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, it's great in the way that you can just you train around what you want to do. So if it's I can't make what would normally be a training time, I'll have to train an hour later. It doesn't matter, you can just do it. And like you say, you can. I mean, there's some great runs around her as well. Lots of hill runs, lots of long country roads you can go on. So you just get out of bed, go running, and I've got everything here. So it's a great setup. I can't really improve on it at all.
And I tell you what, mate, you don't need no warm weather training when you've got that ring in that conservatory, because it's absolutely blistering.
It is. I'll tell you, the summer is an absolute killer because it is so hot in there. It's ridiculous. Even when you open like both sets of doors up, try to get a breeze through, it's too hot. It's far too hot.
So obviously, how do you people talk about father-son boxing relationships? A lot of people say they're the best thing in the world because you know each other inside out. Other people say you can't, the trainer can't maybe be completely honest with the fighter because of the father-son relationship. Obviously, you've been with your dad since day one. How has that benefited you as a fighter in your career?
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we're obviously super close, and we know each other literally like the back of our hand. We're very close in that way. So I feel like it causes slight disruptions here and there, but at the end of the day, I trust my dad in what he's doing. He trusts me in what I'm doing, and I feel like just at the end of the day, there's no one that I would want more in my corner than my dad, because he like I say, he knows me like the back of his hand. He knows when something's up. He just by looking at me, he can know how I'm feeling. So to me, when I'm in the ring and when I'm in the heat of that moment, he knows what's best.
That's a relationship that a fighter that jumps from one coach to another. You see a lot nowadays. They'll never have that relationship. They'll never have that connection with the trainer.
No,
I mean, that's in my opinion, mate. That's an absolutely massive bonus when it comes down to fighter trainer.
I do completely agree. I mean, like I say, you see these fighters that jump from coach to coach. I mean, if that works for them, it works for them. I personally couldn't do it because I feel like I can't make that like connection with them. If you're jumping from coach to coach, I couldn't do it personally. But I mean, if it works for them, it works for them. But I just know that I'm very close with my dad. He knows what he's on about. He knows what's best for me, and he knows exactly how I'm feeling. So there's no one else I'd rather have in there with me in the corner, really.
Well, I can't let you go, mate, without getting a couple of predictions off you. I always like to turn the screw a little bit on people that I get on interviews. Right, so the first one is obviously this weekend. Joe Joyce is getting that rematch against Zhilei Zhang. You obviously saw what happened the first time round. I think everyone was shocked at how the fight went, because prior to that, everything seemed to bounce off Joe.
Yeah, I mean, shots didn't seem to hurt him at all.
No.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Firstly, what do you think Joe needs to do differently to get a different outcome, and how do you see the fight going?
I think. Well, I mean, first of all, I think actually, I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Zhang or?
Yeah,
I can't think of Zhang.
He's Zhang, I think he.
Yeah, he was. I think very clever last time. I mean, it was a case of he covered up. Took the shots that he had to take, but he fired back with some great shots. And I personally think Joyce has got to everything he did in the last fight. He's just got to completely change everything. I mean, if he does anything that he did in the last fight, it will result in the same outcome. Because Zhang's not. He's not stupid. He really does know what he's doing. I really don't know. I can't. I think it all just depends on the night what Joyce is going to do, but also how Zhang responds. I don't know. They're both incredibly good fighters. They clearly can both hit hard. They've both got the power to stop each other, knock each other out. I just think it depends on the night what they're going to do.
The next one, mate, is the very, very top end of your division. Saul Canelo Alvarez against Jermell Charlo.
Oh, see now I hate doing these because it's tough for me because I love Charlo. He's absolutely brilliant, but I am a massive Alvarez fanboy. I am. I won't deny it. I absolutely love him. I just think he's great. Yeah, all the way from his ginger hair, just to how he acts and the way he boxes, it's just brilliant. So I'm a massive fanboy. So I don't know what to call it as, but I mean, don't get me wrong. It's going to be tough because I know Charlo is incredibly good, but I think the fanboy in me still wants Alvarez to walk away with the win.
You know what? Canelo's old school, isn't he? He's like a throwback to the 80s and 60s heavyweight boxing and 80s middleweight boxing in that he'll fight anybody and everybody.
Yeah, he's not bothered. He doesn't care.
No, his resume is outstanding, mate. I think he's fought in his last, I don't know how many fights he's fought world champions in every fight. It's just crazy.
Yeah. You can't take anything away from him. Yeah, he's not running from anyone. He's not hiding. He fights whoever, and he's not bothered. So yeah.
And last one, mate, before I let you go. Your division, the super middleweight division, throughout the years in Britain has been littered with absolute world class, with some fantastic rivalries. If you was to pick one super middleweight fighter from any generation, British super middleweight fighter, as your favourite, who would it be and why?
No, that's tough. I'm not sure I can actually give you an answer because it's difficult because my dad obviously watches a lot of boxing and I'm there and I end up watching a lot of boxing because of it.
Yeah.
I don't actually think I can choose one. I think there's I can't. There's so many. I mean, there's some bloody good fighters out there now at super middleweight. It's such a, for me, the whole division, it's so stacked all the time. It's a very, very competitive division. There's just so many good fighters. Yeah, I can't actually answer that one.
It's always been the golden division of British boxing for me.
Yeah, it's the one of, it's sort of slap bang in the middle. And it's always there's so many fighters there. It's I mean, don't get me wrong. I give massive credit to the heavyweights and the lightweights that are champions because they're brilliant. I feel like it's slightly harder at those middleweights because there's more people there. It's a very, very stacked division.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is indeed, mate. I tell you what, there's a lot for you to be going at. If you come through this and then go on to fight for the English, there's lots of fighters in and around that English British title area. There's so many fighters out there. You've got some brilliant fights coming up. If that's the case, if you progress the way your talent looks like it's going to, there's some fantastic fights out there.
Yeah. No, there's some great fights.
Will, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Last Bell Boxing. Really appreciate your time, mate. We'll be watching your career going forward. I might even get down your call for that fight if I can.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Thanks
Have
for
a
your
great.
time, buddy. I really appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
No, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks. Cheers.